Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butts, get big or get out.
You know, it's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize like, wow, like this piece of legislation, all this money, like it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.
You're listening to Heritage Radio Network. HRN is food radio supported by you. Learn more at heritageradionetwork.org.
This episode is brought to you by Roberta's, home of Heritage Radio Network for 10 years. Learn more about Roberta's at robertaspizza.com.
Culture and Flavor is a podcast about food and culture centered in Black and Indigenous foodways. Hosted by myself, Zella Palmer, right here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Each episode features high vibrational conversations with cultural bearers, chefs, farmers, scholars, barbecue pitmasters, and more. Where there is flavor, there is history. Join me on Culture and Flavor and all of my guests as we share stories that will have you praise dancing, cooking, conjuring, and inspiring your culinary journey. I'm so excited, y'all. Today, we have a very special guest, a legend, a New Orleans legend, a street food vendor legend, the legendary Miss Linda Green, the Yakamein Lady of New Orleans. She is beloved New Orleans icon. For more than 20 years, Miss Linda has delighted taste buds with her delectable classic Yakamein dish and other soul food dishes, always infused with her signature Miss Linda's Soul Food Seasoning Blend. Her dishes and favorites are at local second lines, Thursday night concerts, and at the Ogden Museum and many local festivals. Some of you all have even seen her on Netflix, on guest appearances with Anthony Bourdain. I mean, the list goes on. If you could see her at the Jazz Festival right here in New Orleans every year, I am so honored and humbled to have her on my first show. So welcome, Miss Linda. How you doing?
I'm fine, Zella. How you doing?
It's so good to have you here with me. I'm so excited for this podcast and for us to really get to know you better. Because a lot of people, I know you. A lot of folks in New Orleans know you, but some of our listeners might not know who you are. So I want to talk a little bit about just your early life growing up in New Orleans. And I know we talk a lot, just, you know, in general, just me and you, about the influences that your mother and grandmother had on your journey to becoming this New Orleans icon, and just people from all over the world come to New Orleans for your Yakamein. So tell us a little bit about just growing up in New Orleans.
Well, I got a lot of this experience from my grandmother and my mother, my great-grandmother, and her daughter, my mother's mother, and my auntie. I got all of that from them. They were cooks. And my mom, she definitely was a cook. You know, I used to help her all of the time when she do catering jobs. She cooked for churches. She cooked for judges. Cooked for people on St. Charles Avenue. She did all of that. And I learned a lot from her. And I appreciate that, you know. And growing up, you know, it was always food. Always food in the house. That's what we grew up on, food in the house. And I appreciate that, what they did.
But your mama, she's the one who taught you the legendary recipe that you have, that's been passed down from generation to generation, Yakamein. Tell us a little bit about Yakamein and just the origins and how it came to be so sacred to who you are.
Yeah. Well, really, my mom, my grandmother, others, parents and grandparents, they all in the Black neighborhood, they all had this recipe. A lot of people, Black Americans, had this recipe in their household because it was classified as a poor man dish, Yakamein. It's a Chinese recipe, but you can call it a Chinese Black American recipe because that's what it is. You got to understand that they were slaves. And the Chinese were slaves and the Black Americans were slaves, and they got married, and they got into the kitchen together. But what happened with us, African Americans, what we did, Black Americans, we elevated the taste. We put our own spices of herbs in it, and we brought it to another level. And, like I said, it was always classified as a poor man dish.
So what are some of your fondest memories of making Yakamein with your mother and grandmother? And I remember your mother was telling you, you got to hold on to this recipe.
Yes. Well, my fond memory is when I was a little girl, where my grandmother was living on, where it's Oretha Castle Haley now, but it used to be called Jackson Avenue, Jackson and Drive. And my grandmother used to cook. They used to cook her and her daughter, my auntie. They used to cook Yakamein. But the aroma was so high to people they knew when Mama George and all of them getting ready to cook. So what they did, the people used to come with their bowls, 21, 26 dries. That's what it was, 21 on the first house. And they would come and sit on the porch until Mama George and them get through. But then they would come in go to the side of the house and go to the kitchen, and it would help her, make the bowls for everybody to sit down on the porch. And they used to call it porch popping. That's what they used to call it, porch popping. And, everybody sit down and shoot the breeze, talk about this and talk about that. And they would eat Yakamein. So now my mom, how I got to do it with her is when she started selling Yakamein. My mother was making Yakamein, and it had a bar called Bean Brothers. And Bean Brother was a close family friend. My grandmother used to keep Bean Brothers for their mother while their mother was going to work. So that's how close we were. But then they had a bar, and my mom used to sell it out their bar. And, she used to make money off it. And we used to tell my mama, Ma, you need to quit your job from Orleans Parish School Board. She was the cafeteria lady. And my mama told me, she said, I'm not losing my retirement. She said, maybe one day you can use it. And she was right. But I never knew she was right until Katrina hit. And then when Katrina hit, she was absolutely right.
It changed everything.
It changed everything. We lost our jobs with Orleans Parish School Board. And I lost the job. And once I lost the job, I didn't know what I was going to do. So what I did, I sit down and thought about it. And I went out on faith, and I never looked back. I started now I'm going to tell you, I started selling Yakamein on the streets before Katrina. But I had a job. I was one of the school cafeteria ladies too.
So, I have fond memories of growing up and going to school, and the lunch ladies, were so integral to, Black schools, indigenous schools, Latinx schools. They cooked in the back of in those kitchens, know. And so when Katrina happened in New Orleans, not only did they get rid of the majority African American teachers, they also got rid of, the lunch ladies, right? And all the staff that came along with that and made it into charter schools. So, with that, not only did you tear down, the foundation of, a lot of people who provided services, whether it was community services, social services, et cetera, they also took that away from children, because lunch ladies in New Orleans has such an integral role in helping at-risk youth. Right?
Yes.
And I want you to talk about that a little bit because, we're talking about, where you have gumbo and grilled cheese every week in New Orleans. That hot meal means so much when sometimes you might not be able to get that meal at home. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I want you to talk about just your role as a lunch lady and what you saw.
Well, we was the pillar of it. In the lunch, in the cafeteria. We was the pillar of it. And I never forget one of the board members always said that the lunch lady the cafeteria ladies was the social workers, which was true because we used to always talk with the kids. We talked with the kids. A lot of kids came to us with a lot of trouble that they had at homes or whatever. And we was able to, talk to them to try to let them know, what time of day it was, how much that we loved them and stuff. Because a lot of them used to come through the line all day long, every day, and be telling me all the time, "We love you, Miss Green. Thank you, Miss Green," And I enjoyed that. I'm going to tell you, I really miss that. Now, as far as concerning about Katrina hit, when Katrina hit, it devastated everyone who was working for Orleans Parish School Board because it never reopened. It never reopened for no one. And even though I was cafeteria lady, I felt bad. And how I felt bad because I felt bad for the principals, the teachers, the secretaries, the nurses, the vice principals, coaches. I felt bad for those people because those people went to college for their jobs. And Orleans Parish School Board never called no one back. No one. Then came the charter schools. Okay, and believe it or not, a lot of people was getting retired. When Katrina hit, a lot of people was getting ready to retire, and they were grateful that Jefferson Parish opened their doors to let the people who was getting ready to retire and let some of the teachers come and teach in Jefferson Parish. That was a good thing, So it was devastating. It really, really was devastating that they never did call us back. So I didn't know what I was going to do. So by me selling Yakamein, I had to really find out what I had to do because that was my livelihood. So what I did, I went out on faith and never looked back. I started selling on the streets of New Orleans.
Let's go back and talk a little bit more just about Yakamein and what is it for those who never tried Yakamein before. When you look at some of the historical records, Storyville in New Orleans, the famous neighborhood where jazz was born on Basin Street, they actually had a small Chinatown and they used to sell Yakamein, out of there back in the 20s and 30s. And, we found a photograph in the historic New Orleans collection of one of those small little Chinese restaurants where Chinese immigrants were working with Black cooks and, selling Yakamein after jazz sets, after leaving a brothel, a late night, that old sober, you got a cold, you go and get yourself some Yakamein. Tell us exactly what goes in your Yakamein, especially because your Yakamein is thebomb.com, I must say.
Thank you. We did have Chinatown. In Chinatown, I have an article dated back to 1901 about Yakamein. And believe it or not, like I said before, it was in the black bars and it was in the black homes and the Chinese homes and bars. But what happened was, like I said before, we elevated that flavor. We elevated that. We put our spices and herbs into it. A lot of people would go into the bars, the black bars, and they would enjoy themselves, dance, drink. And, they would, at the end of the night, everybody get them a Yakamein and fried chicken. That's what they get every night. So, yeah, we took that. And we, like I said, we elevated that flavor. And that's how that Yakamein became so popular into the Black community, because we kept it in the houses. And another thing, what I want to say is this. A lot of Black families had it, but I had a lot of Black families, members, let them die with it. I didn't let my mother die with that. I always had it, but my children is the one that took it off her deathbed. They did that. They went to Radio Shack and got a tape recorder, and they recorded it. I have a daughter that she's very precise, and she wasn't about to let my mama die with it. But my mom told me, when we was telling my mama she need to quit her job, my mama told me, she said, I can't, this is my retirement. She said, maybe one day you can use it. And unbeknownst to what she said, I never dreamed in a million years that she was right. After Katrina hit, I had to do something because I had kids and it was my livelihood. Mm-hmm. So like I say, I went out on faith and I never looked back. Yakamein is something like a pho, if you know about pho. It's a noodle soup, And but we, like I said, we did this. It's noodles, meat, a hard-boiled egg with green onion. But really and truly, what it's really, really about is about the juice.
It's that flavor.
That's what it's about, the flavor. And, when I say what we did, we put our spices and herbs into it. And when we put our spices and herb into it, we explode that mouth. That tongue, we explode that.
I know that's right.
Because, I always tell them about my Yakamein. My Yakamein is like this. It goes into your mouth and hit that palate, that tongue. But it goes to the brain. And when it goes to the brain, it comes back to the tongue and say, I want more. And that's how my Miss Linda, the Yakamein Lady, Yakamein is. It is delicious. When I was doing it on the streets with the sucker lines, the people used to look for me. I may not be able to catch the next stop. So everybody, would say, y'all seen that Yakamein Lady? And that's how I became the Yakamein Lady. When they used to say, where's she at? Where's she at? We want the Yakamein Lady. And when I do get a chance to get to the next stop, I done sold out. And they get so mad with me. But that's all right. I tell them I'm going to catch you next time. But this is a journey that I'm on. And I love the journey. And I got a lot of more stuff to come out with. I'm doing it.
You doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it. And I enjoy it.
And Yakamein led you to meet so many superstars. Earlier, we were talking about how you cook for Willie Nelson, you cook for Bon Jovi,
everybody,
Anthony Bourdain. Tell us about some of those experiences.
Well, what happened was after Katrina hit, I was doing catering for Tipitinas, and Adam Shipley, Mr. Rowland, and Miss Mary. They let me they let me come. I lost my job with the school board. They let me come. I was with them for Hurricane Katrina at Stacy Fountainberry mother and father house in Lafayette, Louisiana, the night of Hurricane Katrina. That's who I was with, Tipitinas in it. So they knew that I lost my job. So they told when the hurricane was over with, and they brought me to Houston, Texas to go to my children. I guess they discussed about me losing my job. They told me to come back in one day, in 1 week, and I did. And they let me feed the disadvantaged musicians that come through and, with Tipitinas. And I did that. And I had the lines around the block. I cooked in Tipitinas and I fed the disadvantaged musicians. And then I fed everybody that's participated with them, that performed in there. And when I say perform, Willie Nelson, Carmen Electra, Bon Jovi, Robert Plant. He loved my crab meat dressing. Yes, he loved it.
Ooh, don't even start talking about that crab meat dressing.
Yes,
That's my favorite.
Oh, my God. Everybody. The guy from House, and I'm serious. Ola Duro, Nas Daddy, what's his name? Snoop Dogg. Everybody that then came through. And I'm talking about local and international stars that I have fed. Everybody that came through there, a lot of them requested me. And that's the part that, they still requested me. We just did a gig the other night over there. It's still doing things over there at Tipitinas, and I appreciate them doing that for me, But it's just something that I love doing. I love what I do, and I'm leaving a legacy for my family. You understand? And I don't know. It's just something that it's going to continue, and I want my family to continue to do this.
Because mostly at every event, you see your children, your grandchildren out there. It's a family affair.
It really is.
And after, we had with Miss Willie Mays. We were talking earlier about Miss Willie May. We have a legend. We have a legacy in New Orleans of Black women who were either caterers, tavern owners, bar owners, restaurant owners, street food vendors, and they're icons. We had Miss Willie Mays that passed away. We had Miss Leah Chase, who also passed away recently. And really, you are one of the last ones from that generation that knows how to cook that old school flavor.
Well, they have a lot of other ones that they haven't never named, but they put me under Miss Leah Chase, Women Power of New Orleans. And they put me under Nina Compton and both of the Susans, Poppy Tooker, and they got me under that. They got my picture and my name there. Plus me and Miss Leah Chase, we have a picture, and Paul Pudama. We have a picture in the United Medical Center that when it first opened up, I have a picture of me, Miss Leah Chase, and Paul Pudam on the third floor in radiologist. A lot of people don't even know that. They don't even know that my picture is hanging up in there, There's a lot of stuff that, they classify me under Miss Leah Chase. And they tell me that, But I don't say anything, because what I'm doing is my livelihood. I want everybody to understand that, And I do have to say this, I have bills to pay. I have bills to pay. So, even Emerald had told me one time, they're watching you. And I said, yeah, you too. And he kissed me on my jaw. I got the pictures and everything for that, I really enjoy, watching him. Plus, the one who died, Anthony Bourdain. He came to me. Someone came to Jazz Fest and stuck their head up in the window and said, Anthony wants to taste that Yakamein. I said, Anthony who? And they said, Anthony Bourdain. I said, well, tell him to get ready. So we did get a chance to be on Cajun Country.
We're going to take a break right quick and be right back with Miss Linda. Thank you all.
This episode is brought to you by Roberta's, home of Heritage Radio Network for 10 years. Roberta's was founded in Bushwick in 2008 and has become one of the most iconic restaurants in the country. HRN made its home inside of Roberta's in 2009, and together they have become part of the DIY fabric of the neighborhood. Roberta's, the pizza restaurant, is open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week and serves much more than just the famous wood-fired pizzas. Their team dreams up new salads, pastas, and sandwiches on the regular. Roberta's Tiki Bar is alive and well in the back garden, serving up frozen drinks in the summer and hot toddies in the winter. Stop by the bakery and takeout spot next door for fresh breads, sticky buns, and pizzas to go. But Roberta's also extends beyond Bushwick, with multiple locations in New York City and now in Los Angeles. You can also find their frozen pies in grocery stores around the country. The spirit of Roberta's, like Heritage Radio Network, is everywhere. Here's to many more years of pizza-powered radio. Learn more about Roberta's at robertaspizza.com.
So we're back with Miss Linda Green, the Yakamein Lady.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
So we were talking about, what were we talking about?
We was talking about Anthony Bourdain.
Yes, we were talking about Anthony
Cajun
Bourdain.
Country.
That's right. We were talking about Cajun Country.
I was on, I was up episode with him. And like I said, they came to my booth at Jazz Fest and stuck their head in the window and said, Anthony want to taste that. And I said, who is Anthony? And they said, Anthony Bourdain. I said, well, let him come on and taste it. So I did get the pleasure of meeting Anthony. And we talked, we talked about the food. And Anthony said he never tasted it. He'd have been all over the world. And he told me, he said, I never tasted nothing like this before. He said it was strange. He said it's different, but he loved it. He'd say, I love it. And I really appreciated him, telling me that. And then me and him was talking about my son. My son had died of a drug overdose. And Anthony was telling me about his drug addiction. And he had said, he pointed out to me about his child. He had a child. And he told me, he said his daughter was the one that stopped him from using drugs, And I was kind of like shocked that he would actually, talk about this to somebody, that he don't know. But he did. He talked about that with me. And I appreciate him, letting me, know. But, everybody knew. But when I was telling him about my son, I guess it related with him. Mm-hmm. And I appreciated him comforting me with that. But, I'm in all types of newspapers from all over the world. And when I say Huffington Post, everywhere.
And that led
Rolling
you to
Stones, everywhere.
But that also led you to have, film appearances. I mean, you were in Street Food on Netflix. You've been in Your Honor. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I done fed a lot of movies. Yeah.
Because a lot of people come to New Orleans because they say, I saw you on Netflix. I saw you on Your Honor.
But right now, I have people from all over the world is coming to New Orleans, coming to my city to see me, plus to eat the Yakamein plus to eat the food in the city of New Orleans. I have a lot of people. Once I did the Netflix Street Food USA, they always did bring it in other countries, but they decided to do one in the United States. And New Orleans was one of them. And they came to me, even though we have other ones that's in New Orleans in street food, but I was the main character. And they told me this. They said, we have other ones that's going to be in here, but you are the main one that we are filming, because they filmed me 2 weeks. And it's been powerful, real powerful. I get calls from all over the world every day, all day. I get messages every day, all day. They're letting me know that they'll book their flights. They're coming to New Orleans. I have people coming for Jazz Fest. I have people they are in here today. I'm on this podcast, but my grandchildren is doing a pop-up as we speak. And we have people from all over the world is in New Orleans now eating Yakamein right now as we speak.
I love that. And one of the things, that the highlights of my Mardi Gras is always helping you get ready, around Christmas time. You usually have your, you founded a second line club, and helping you get ready so you and the club members can walk out and second line in the streets,
right?
And that's your time. And you were also the fairy. What was it? The green fairy for one of the Mardi Gras. Yeah, you were the queen.
Yeah, the queen.
Talk a little bit about that.
I was excited when they called me and asked me about that, and it was beautiful. I mean, that was a beautiful ride. But I was the queen for the camel toe ladies. And that was a beautiful ride going up St. Charles Avenue. That, a young Black girl being a queen, going up St. Charles Avenue, that was oh my God, that was delightful. Mm-hmm. Very, very delightful. But I have a club that me and my husband, my ex-husband, we founded. And it was called, at the beginning, it was called the Rollers. The Rollers in the Roller Court. But now that, we had divorced and I kept the club, and it's called the Lady and Men Rollers now. So anyway, this is going to be our 30 year. And this is something I love doing. I love preparing. Every year in December, we are the last parade of the year in December, the last Sunday. And I love that, But I got to tell y'all something. I don't second line. I sit on the call. But my girls, they get down. I mean, they're rolling. They be rolling. And I love it, And I have invited guests. I have the Pussyfooters. The party line ladies, I have those people that come in and, I enjoy inviting people to come and enjoy the parade with me and my girls, the Lady Rollers, I even had Netflix with the Lady Rollers, and it was beautiful, what I want people to know too is that by me being on Netflix, it helps a lot. I have a lot of people coming to my city. I love my city. And I'm going to say this. I love my city, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I love it. And I want people to know that, I have people coming from all over the globe. Netflix explained to me that they enjoyed the show and that the Netflix street food is in 192 countries. And believe it or not, they're not lying, because guess what? A lot of people from all over, I mean Italy, Australia, Hong Kong, Africa. The first call was from Africa. And he booked his flight and he came. I have pictures, from everybody that come. They want to take a picture with Miss Linda. They wants to take a picture with me. And I appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. And when I tell you the United Kingdom, Paris, Egypt. I just talked with a lady day before yesterday from Egypt. And I told her I'm coming. I'm coming. Morocco, Dubai. Everybody from all over the world. India. They got people from India. And they got nothing. Everybody in the United States has come to see me. And, I want my city, I appreciate it because they're coming to my city. And they're coming not only enjoying me, they're coming to enjoy the city of New Orleans. And that's what I like. They're not only eating my food, they're eating other people's food too in the city of New Orleans. And this is something, that's that culture. And that's something that I love doing. And I send them to a lot of people. Not only the Yakamein now, I send them other places too.
But you don't just make Yakamein too. You make some of my favorite dishes. I mean, my kids grew up that crab meat dressing, that gumbo. Like that. And we were talking earlier. Sometimes we get in the. We just always kiki, and you always, you win contests for gumbo,
everything.
And there's different types of gumbo in New Orleans.
Yeah, I won.
There's downtown, there's uptown.
Yes,
it's a difference. It's a difference. What's the difference? Tell us what's the difference.
The difference is Creole and uptown. Creole. Well, the Creole is like from that 6th and 7th Ward. 6th, 7th Ward, and that's the Creole gumbo, And some people say it's the I think it says the okra. Then some say it's the red gravy. And I remember when they do that red gravy, some put the paste in it, just to turn it red. And for what I can understand too, it'd be the sausage, like the Vocasan sausage. Vocasan sausage that turn it red, something like that, Yeah, I like that, But the downtown, and the uptown, it's just a dark root. That's what we did. And that's what I grew up on, making sure that I brown that root to a dark brown. And then, you just start putting your flavor in it, your seasoning and your meats and stuff. And see me, I do a kitchen zinc. Call it the kitchen zinc gumbo. And they ask what that kitchen zinc is. And I tell them that's everything that go into a gumbo. And I mean everything. I mean chicken, gizzard, hot sausage, ham, smoked sausage, beef meat. I mean everything. Chicken necks, chicken legs. Yeah.
Well, I know you love TikTok because I always catch you looking on TikTok. So how do you feel when you see people putting hot dogs in their gumbo or some of the other gumbos?
I never thought, you know what? And I told Zella this today. I remember years ago, we have a cross the river called Algiers. And I remember this guy used to work at this grocery store. He was a butcher. And his gumbo was delicious. Oh my God, it was so good. But then when I started eating it, and when I pulled the spoon up and was getting ready to put it in my mouth, I seen a wiener in there. And I stopped. I said, wait a minute, what this is? And he told me that was a hot dog. I said, wait a minute, I can't eat this. But it scared me because I've never seen that before. But what I found out that the people like in Bell Chase and stuff like that, they use hot dogs. A lot of people use hot dogs in their wieners. When I was growing up, we never had that. We never did that. We never did that. No hot dogs, We never did that. But that's what a lot of people do. You know, different counties, you know, like Belle Chase and Edgar, Louisiana. Those people, they do all of that. And nowadays, you know, you got a lot of different foods coming up now. Lots and lots of different food. You know, everybody is throwing, you know, putting things together. And you got people really like that. You got a lot of people like that throw together stuff, you know. But I'm old school. That's what I am. And I'm going to stick with my old school. I love my old school because not only that, I have a crawfish macaroni and cheese. You know, just
make you slap
it.
your mama.
It's you know, I have a shrimp and crab meat dressing. I have a smothered duck. I do alligator and the yaka meats. I do all types of yaka meat. I do beef, shrimp and beef. I do duck. I do alligator. I do crawfish yaka meat. I do pork chop yaka meat. Smoked sausage yaka meat. I do chicken yaka meat. I do now at Jazz Fest, I do the vegetarian and I do the beef yaka meat at Jazz Fest.
I meant to tell you too, you know, Tabitha Brown,
I've heard of her.
Yeah. She was doing a review or something on they got vegan eggs out now, and they look just like vegan eggs. And
really?
And my daughter, she had some, and she said, "Oh, we got to tell Miss Linda about this.
The
she
vegan
can put it in the vegan
you're gonna have to tell me that. I'm gonna have to get that. Yeah, that would be nice for me when I do Jazz Fest.
Yes, indeed.
And
yes,
I would
indeed.
because you know why? Because a lot of them, I make some with egg and I mix some without because a lot of people don't like the egg. Yeah, a lot of them will tell me we don't eat it. So what they do when they say, give me a vegetarian without the egg, and I'll, you know, give them to the vegan yaka meat too. But I'm glad you told me that.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you try it. It was really good. I said this tastes really good.
Yeah,
I was
that's
shocked.
good. I'm glad. You know, and I think what it is too that I do all the festivals in the city of New Orleans. I do them all. And I'm going right back to what I say, because it's my livelihood and I have to pay bills. And a lot of people used to always tell me, you all over the place, you all over the place. But the reason why I'm all over the place is because I have a family and I have to pay bills, and that's the reason.
But I think, you know, just because I'm such a huge supporter and you have so many fans around you that just love you so much, I want you to have your own show one day. I really do. You need your own show.
I mean, like that.
Because you are hilarious. You are hilarious.
They say I'm
just
funny.
A whole personality.
They say I'm funny.
I'm putting that out to the universe. So.
Yeah, they say I'm funny. And another thing, too, which y'all have to understand and realize, I love what I do. I love cooking. I love it. You know, since I was cooking with my mom, you know, my mom did catering. My mom cooked for St. Francis de Sales Catholic Church. She was the one that, when she did banquets for the church, she made sure that they had cold drinks machines and stoves, refrigerator. She was the lady that made sure, like 3:00 in the morning, when Mr. Charles Hamilton, he was the president of Zulu Social and Pleasure Club, Mardi Gras. Before they hit the floats, my mother was the lady that fed them at Lionel's Green Room. She was the lady that did that. She was the lady that cooked and catered for Judge Israel Augustines and all the judges back there on Tulane and Broad. She was the lady that cooked for Silas Lee, our pollster. She cooked for his mother every Wednesday, made sure she had the greens and cornbread, and a family on St. Charles and State, they had on Thursday, they had greens and cornbread. My mama did all of that. And I helped her do all of that.
And I'm sure your mom is so proud of you.
I'm
you
more
know?
than sure. But you know what she is, yeah?
Yeah.
She said it before she died.
What did she say?
She told me, she said, you know, she told me, she said, girl, I know what you're doing. I said, you know what I'm doing? She said, yeah. She said, I'm so proud of you. But like I had to explain to her, is that I got everything from you. I got everything from you. My mother was a little short, humble lady. Very kicks. I think I got that from her. I think so. Yeah. But I enjoy what I do. I really, really enjoy it. I do have a lot of people. I got a lot of fans. And I'm going to say this. I need to say this. I was sick. I guess I'm still a little sick. But the thing is this. As I've been relaxing myself, I'm realizing who I am now. I never knew who I was because since Katrina and before Katrina, I always was busy, but I was busy every week up until now. I'm still busy, but I mean, I was busy. I never had a rest. And Zella said 20, but it's over 30-something years. I never had a rest. And now I'm resting a little bit now, and I'm beginning to know who Miss Linda, the Yakamein Lady, is now.
What a blessing.
Yeah, I am knowing who I am now. And I have people, I had a little young guy that delivered a package to my house yesterday and told me, he said, Miss Linda. I said, yes, Jordan. He said, I seen your Netflix. I said, you seen it? I said, did you enjoy it? He said, I loved it. He said, but Miss Linda. I said, what, Jordan? He said, why you didn't tell me I was going to cry? I said, you cried? He said, I was boo-hooing, Miss Linda. I said, well, you enjoyed it then, because that's what everybody... look at the Netflix, and a lot of people relate to my story.
One of the things that was also included in that series, and that I'm still proud of you about, because, Yakamein, the flavor that you put in is you have your own seasoning blend.
Yes,
that is off the chain.
Yes.
It is off. She don't share it with nobody. I even asked her for just a pinch of it, just so I could put it in my food. She won't even give it to me. And then you also have Yakamein.
Got Yakamein.
That Bloody Mary mixed with Yakamein seasoning is off the chain. Oh my God. That's the best, one of the best cocktails I've ever had. Out. And you won an award for it, if I'm not mistaken. You won the Bloody Mary, was it the Bloody Mary Festival?
Yes, I won the Bloody Mary contest. And the thing about it, I even won a sushi contest, sushi Yakamein. But the thing is this,
you won Chopped. Let's not even forget, we saw you on Chopped back in the day.
Yeah, I was the first person in New Orleans to win Chopped. Yes. Right. For the Food Network channel. I won the vegan. I'm always winning the gumbo contest. I won the vegan contest, the vegan gumbo contest. I won that. It's a lot of contests that are wing walls. The Bloody Mary contest I won the judges, and I won the People Choice Award. So they gave me 2 awards that day. I'm always winning contests. I don't enter them anymore. And a lot of people ask me why. I said, well, let somebody else win. I know that sounds crazy, but I have a lot of awards. And I have a lot of awards that I don't even tell people about, But I'm all right. I'm all right with that. And what I do enjoy, I enjoy the upcoming chefs they got. The young ones, I talk to them. I get together with them and talk to them about some of the do's and the don'ts. Because that's what, when I did get a chance to talk to Leah Chase, Miss Leah, and Miss T. Eva, Miss Dunbar, they open with their arms open wide, and they talk to me, and they explain to me about the do's and the don'ts when I came on this culinary circle. I didn't go to college for this. I worked as the cafeteria lady, and I worked my way up to become a chef. That's how I did that. I didn't get no degree. I really, I didn't do that. But I am a chef, and that's what they classify me as now.
What's your mother's full name?
Shirley Mae Green.
You went to Shirley Mae Green University.
That's what they asked me. And that's what I told them, Shirley Mae Green University. Mama Georgia University. That's what I did. My auntie, and see my auntie, it was something about her okra. When you cook in okra, it always break up. Mm-hmm. It was her okra that she grew in her backyard that when she cooked it, her okra didn't break up. And I always wondered how and why. Mm. But it was the way she cooked it. Mm. And I never liked okra until she started cooking it. Mm. Yeah, never liked it. But my auntie, my mom, her sister, it was her only sister, their mother and my grandmother and her daughter, Aunt Nettie, we was a close-knit family, and they loved cooking. They loved to cook. And we all gathered in the kitchen. Everybody gathered in the kitchen and sit down and shoot the breeze. Yeah.
Do you think that New Orleans food is changing? I mean,
Yeah, it changed. It is changing. Because some of the things that they eat now, we didn't eat back then. Mm-hmm. We didn't eat none of that stuff that they got now. But you have your younger generations, and they like it. You have your young chefs. I mean, I love what they do. I love it. And they're doing good with it.
I guess my question is, how do younger generations preserve the past? Because, like you said, you didn't want your mother's recipe to go to the grave.
No, indeed.
So how does this generation preserve that
what
old school flavor, that old school techniques?
Well, you got a lot of them is doing new things now. And some of the old, let me tell you, like some of our old school flavors, what they doing, they're adding to that. They are adding. Mm-hmm. I be on TikTok and I be watching it. Some of the stuff they be adding. I say, look what I be saying. Ooh, I didn't know you could do that. And then I said, well, Gracie Corner said, you could do it. Baby, they doing some stuff. I'm serious. And I be looking, but like I said, I'm sticking to my old school flavor because people like smothered duck and smothered chicken and, stuff like that, smothered pork chops, greens and cornbread and red beans and rice and white beans. People love that. People looks for that stew with potatoes and, carrots and stuff like that. Roasts. People love that. This is something like Monday. On a Monday, my mama had red beans and rice. On a Tuesday, she had white beans and rice. On a Wednesday, it was meatballs and spaghetti. Thursday, it was something like a potluck, but we had meatloaf or we might have a rib. On a Friday, it's seafood. Saturday, you can get you some yaka meat. And getting ready to look at wrestling, we're going to have yaka meat. If we don't have yaka meat, we have hot dogs, tacos with the kids and stuff. And on a Sunday, it's going to be stewed hen or roast, stewed chicken. That's what we're going to have. And that's how it was. That's how it was in my family. We did that. My mama did that. And she cooked every day. Even though she cooked for the church, leave and cook at home and then go straight to the church and cook every Sunday at the coffee house at St. Francis de Sales Catholic Church. That's where my mother was cooking every Sunday. I used to say this. Now, y'all don't get upset with me when I say this. I say they go beaving and wobbing, when they be getting off their knees, going back on their knees, and then go straight to the coffee house and sit down and eat smothered chicken and stewed chicken. That's what they used to do. And I used to help her with that. My mother served under 5 priests. And when she died, all of them preside over her. At San Fran. Yes, ma'am. I called Father Robert L. Gus, in New Jersey, and I told him my mom passed. He said, don't do nothing till I get there. And he got there, and he presided over my mother. That's right. He did that. So, I'm very grateful. I'm honored that, my mom taught me a lot. Because one thing that my mother taught me, and I do tell my kids this, in order for you to respect other people, you have to respect yourself first. And then you can respect everybody around you. And that's something that Miss Shirley always instilled me. And I do. I respect everyone. That's what I do. I respect everyone because I want respect back. I'm what you call a loner. I'm a home type person. I always was by myself, always be by myself. And I love that. It's nothing that I don't want to be bothered with anybody. It's just, that's the way I was because I was the only girl and it was just me and my brother. And he was 10 years older than me. So it was just me and my mom, my auntie, my grandmother, and all my other aunties because I was the child that traveled. While my mama worked, I always go by my different Auntie Gertrude and Auntie Normally. I was the always Auntie Nettie, Auntie Glory. I was the child that traveled, and I'm the child that know all the history of everybody's household. Good, bad, and ugly. I know, because they talk about it now. My cousins and them, girl, you know everything about everybody. I say, I sure do. I need to put this on tape recorder. I'm serious, but I did fall down sick, and I had to put things back a little bit, like my Bloody Mary. I have it's called Yakamein, and it's going in all of the stores at Rouse's, and I appreciate Mr. Downey Rouse's Senior and them, and Marcy and all of them, treating me, and telling me that whenever I get ready, just take care of myself right now. And when I get ready, they're still going to be there for me. And I appreciate that because that's a dream of mine, is put my Yakamein in the store. And I just found out how we could put the Yakamein in store. That was the first to go in the stores. But then the Yakamein started, we started bottling it up. So Yakamein and Yakamein are going to go into the stores. And that's something that I can't wait. I just can't wait. And I'm more than sure it's going to be right after Jazz Fest. Because I am doing Jazz Fest. I'm doing French Quarter Festival. And I am doing Cajun Zydeco Festival at Armstrong Park on the 24th and the 25th. I will be at Cajun Zydeco.
Y'all heard that, huh? Miss Linda is going to be at all the festivals for festival season right here in New Orleans, so you all can look forward to her. Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Oh, and I'm going to be at Top Taco.
Okay.
With my boyfriend, Shane. Top Taco Shane. I'm coming.
So I asked you to be on this podcast. This is the first podcast that I'm launching for my podcast with Heritage Radio Network called Culture and Flavor. Any advice you have for me, just looking forward, I mean, all the people I know and who I'm going to bring on the podcast. But,
right.
What are your hopes for the listeners to learn about, this podcast and just me as the host?
Oh, my God. You my daughter.
Don't make me cry.
You my child. I tell them, see, she's a loner too. She do not express the things that she do. But I'm going to tell you something, how I met her. She helps all of the chefs that need help. She helps them, with the Dillard Ray Charles program. And that's something how I met her. She let me in Dillard University, Dr. Kimball and them, they let me come in and use their kitchen. And I appreciate them, letting me do that. But not only me, she let chefs, any chef that want to be a part of Dillard Ray Charles' program, she's going to open up her arms to them. She recognized a lot of chefs, authors, cooks. She recognized everybody. And that's something that she got to come out her shell. Now, with this podcast, I really believe that's what's going to happen, because I tell people, I say she's a professor. She's the chair of the Ray Charles program. And I tell her that all the time because a lot of people didn't know that Ray Charles was a cook besides a singer, and this is something that he dreamed of. So she's a part of that. And she is willing and able to put that out, but she don't say very much. She do a lot, but she don't say very much about that. And I want everybody to know about the Dillard Ray Charles program. I tell you that all the time.
I know.
All the time. I do. Because I see the things that she do for people. I mean, a lot of young, and that's my thing with I want to work with a lot of young chefs. A lot of them want to work with me. And, I didn't have the time in the beginning. I worked with some, but I just didn't have the time because I was doing my livelihood. But now, I want to be able to, help some and, and encourage them, to do what they're doing, because I'm telling you, they got it going on now. They got it going on, and I'm so proud of a lot of these chefs out here. I'm very, very proud of them. And they're doing their thing, And another thing, too, what I'm mostly proud of now is that they're getting their paperwork together. That's what I'm proud of, A lot of them used to think that they can do things without paperwork, but you can't do it because, a lot of people be trying to report them. And like I tell them all the time, go get your paperwork. I was one of them. I didn't have my paperwork, 30 years ago? People used to call up on me. But I sure appreciate all of them that call up on me, because guess what? They made me go get my paperwork. And I got everything. State, federal, everything. State, look, city, everything. I got it all. And I appreciate that. And make sure you get yourself served. You got to get that. Because like one of my producer at Jazz Fest always tell me these words. Her name is Michelle Nugent. And I talk about her at every interview. She could sleep good at night. I says it now. I could sleep good at night because I ain't killing nobody.
Oh.
And that's what she said. And I tell the youngsters about that. Make sure you know your temperatures in your food, because let me tell you something. You're going in somebody's body. And that's my thing right there. That's my thing. I know what I have to have. I know what I got to give you. You understand? But I don't want to kill you. No, indeed, I don't. So I want a lot of them to know, get your paperwork together, and you'll be able to go and do this and handle your business. And you can hold your head up proudly and with a big old smile on your face and say, I got that. That's right. But Zella, no. I told Zella to put that Ray Charles, I tell her everywhere I go, I tell everybody about the Ray Charles program at Dillard University.
I love you. I just have to say that.
I do. I tell everybody.
I love you.
Everyone. Yeah, and something, like I said before, a lot of people, Zella coming out her shell now. And I'm very proud of her because, this is her first podcast, and I'm very, very grateful and honored that I'm the first person to do this. I'm very honored. And she's going to have, look, Zella know a lot of people, yeah. She do. She know a lot of people. And believe me, she going to have a very, very successful podcast because a lot of people from all over the world is going to come and get on her podcast because they come to Dilla Rachel's over there and do little interviews with her. So I know she's straight.
Thank you. I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. But we gonna get that Red Charles program out here.
Y'all heard her, huh? That's my
right.
mama. That's my mama.
Right.
She always gonna cheerlead for me.
Listen, I'm not sitting up here just saying this. I tell Zella this all of the time. And you know, I look at myself too. It's a lot of things that I need too, you know. But I don't know if I should say this, but I
say it.
You know, it's a lot of things that you want to keep to yourself. But then I need it out. To have people be asking me about my seasoning. My seasoning is a trade secret. I found this out that you cannot patent a recipe. You have to trade secret it. And that's what I did. I trade secret the Yakamein seasoning and the Bloody Mary and the Yakamein. They are trade secret. And they got a lot of people. I mean, they have people call me up and ask me, can I send the recipe to them while they can cook it? And I have to tell them, I'm so sorry, it's a trade secret, you know? And I got to put a heart behind it because I love y'all.
And what do you always say that has me cracking up? When you say, you always have me rolling. You'll ask you, oh, what do you put in there? You say, oh, just a little salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper and love. And they ask me, say, oh, well, then you think you can give me some of that? I say, if I give it to you, I got to kill you. You got to go. They be falling out. They be laughing down. Look, they tell me. You know, they have a lot of people, you know, that like I say, I'm just realizing that a lot of people love me. And I mean genuine love me. When I did this Netflix, I mean, they just fell in love with the story and they related. A lot of people related to the story. And what I like about it is, what I love about it is that they come in here and they done already booked their flights. they didn't call me. I got it all written down. I done booked my flight in April. I'm coming. Oh, I got one in March. Like I said before, they're on 2304 Washington Avenue right now, doing Yakamein, crawfish macaroni and cheese, bread pudding. And, you know, I think what it is too, and I appreciate that everything that I touches and I put my hand on with cooking, everybody love it. I mean, everybody like the taste. The taste is good. I'm Green. My name is Linda Green. And they love my greens because they call it green greens. They love that. They love the macaronis. They love the smothered duck, the shrimp and beef Yakamein. You know, they love that combination. Oh my God, they love that. Everything I cook, jambalaya. Bread pudding. My bread pudding do Best Bite every year at Jazz Fest.
And my favorite.
What? That crab meat?
Not only the crab meat dressing.
Everybody
you know,
like that crab meat.
I'll ask her for a whole tray of crab meat dressing.
Everybody loves it.
But a secret, and we're going to talk about that soon.
Which one?
Once we make the announcement later.
Okay.
But your oyster cream gumbo.
Oh my God. But you know that oyster cream gumbo is from Nellie Murray. Mm-hmm. And you have to give her that props. When Zella did the Nellie Murray feast. Zella Palmer did the Nellie Murray feast for Miss Leah Chase. She did that. And they asked me would I do the oyster cream gumbo. And believe me, I was excited to do it. I read her recipe and I did it exactly like she did, but I put a little something in it. And that night over there by the Commons in Old Metairie, they talked about Miss Leah Chase and that oyster cream gumbo.
It was off the chain.
That's all they talked about.
That was the best gumbo. That was the best
oyster cream. It's delicious.
Oh my God.
That's all they talked about was Miss Leah Chase. Even Miss Leah Chase told me. And her grandson, Duck. He said, oh my God, this is so delicious.
That's right.
And every scoop you pulled up an oyster. Yes, it's a delicious, and I love doing that. It's good. It was good.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us on my first podcast for Culture and Flavor. You are an icon, a legend. I want your legacy to live on and on and on. So I'm hoping that this interview will go far and, someone will say, hey, let's give Miss Linda a show.
Oh my God.
Because I want to see her rested, loved on, and, on TV screens all over the world because she is, she's just a treasure, and we love her in New Orleans. We love her all over the world. So, and she is loved in our family. She helped me raise my boys. They grew up on Yakamein crab meat dressing, cornbread, whatever, all of it. So I appreciate you so, so, so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for doing the things that you do. Like I said, you help. You is a treasure. And the city don't really know who you is. But the city need to know who you is, Zella.
Don't make me cry.
No, I'm serious.
I have stayed behind the scene.
you Howard, y'all help. Y'all put things out there, and that's something, I want to get with him too. I got to get with him. Mm-hmm. I know he been doing his thing, just like everybody been doing their thing, And like I said, my health has stopped me for a minute. And I'm getting all of that together now. So I'll be able to, do the things that I want to do. And between now and the end of this year, everything should be on top notch.
Awesome.
Yes. But like I said, I really believe this is not the end for you because she's very smart, y'all. Very, very, very smart. She is. She's smart.
She gonna make me blush,
No,
y'all.
she come from smartness. Her mother was Senator Alice Palmer. Her daddy, Mr. Buzz Palmer. Yeah, her grandmother and them from out the 7th Ward. Yeah, she's very, very intelligent.
Love you.
That's why, I don't know, God put me and this young lady together.
That's right.
He put us together.
Yes, right.
And it's nothing that I would never, ever, I would always, anytime she called me, I'm going to always be there for her, no matter what.
I love you.
She know that.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you too.
And I thank y'all for listening. This is, a wrap for Culture and Flavor with Zella Palmer. And thank you, Miss Linda Green, the Yakamein Lady, for joining us on our first podcast. And thank you, Heritage Radio Network. Peace.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Culture and Flavor is powered by Simplecast. Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. Keep in touch at heritageradionetwork.org/subscribe.